Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I assume you've clicked because you're sitting your UCAT this year and you want to know what the best resources are to help you to prepare for this exam. Now, I sat the UCAT last year and I got a score of 2,950, which put me in the 94th percentile, and I used quite a few resources on the way, and I'd like to share which ones worked and which ones didn't in today's video. So without further ado, let's get straight into each resource. But real quick, before I start, what do you want from the resources that you're getting for your UCAT? Well, most resources have about three things. First of all, they have the Learn section where you learn about the tips and tricks on how to answer the questions in the UCAT. Then you have the Practice section where you get to just do loads and loads of practice questions to improve at those specific sections of the UCAT. And finally, you have the mock tests, and as you know me, I love my mock tests. That's kind of what I use for my A-level prep, and I did the same for UCAT, so that's where I spent most of my time, on the mock section. So I might be a little bit biased towards the resources that have more of those, but we'll get onto that. But the main thing is that those three things are definitely something you need from all of your UCAT preparation resources. All right, Medify. That was the first resource that I used. I paid about 60 quid for 2 months. And it was really, really helpful. I think I'd contribute about 90% of my success in the UCAT to Medify. The reason for that is it has a huge number of mock tests. It has like 20 or 21 that they boast on their website, and they have about 40 to 50 kind of practice tests for each section. And I found those extremely helpful because I really like just getting down and doing the full mock tests, and that helped me the most. So that's something that Medify is really, really helpful for. It also has a pretty good analysis section as well if you're interested in kind of analysing your performance, seeing which specific questions you're weakest at. Another thing about Medify is it was pretty similar to the real exam. So maybe the verbal reasoning and the decision making were a little bit easier on Medify, so they're a bit harder in the actual exam. VR was definitely much harder in the exam. But overall, it gives a good feeling for what the exam difficulty is going to be like. I think that's really important when you look for a UCAT resource. The second resource I'd like to talk about is Passmedicine. Now, Passmedicine is a godsend. I've heard loads and loads of medical students use it. I'm sure I'll be using it next year for actual medical school exams. But they have a UCAT section as well, and it's completely free. It's amazing. What it does is it's got practice subtests again for each section. It has about 10 for each section, and it has 3 full mocks as well. I'd say Passmedicine is really, really helpful. Firstly, obviously, because it's free, but secondly, because it's somewhere you can make a start. You don't have to worry about, begging your parents for money or putting your credit card details in and starting a resource. You can just get in there and start preparing and start seeing whereabouts you are with your UCAT prep before you go off and buy loads of expensive things. So I think that's a brilliant place to start. I'd say one problem though with Passmedicine is the QR section is so ridiculously difficult. It is nothing like the exam. The exam I found much easier for the QR. On Passmedicine, I'm getting like 440 and some trash scores. So please don't feel disheartened if you're getting something like that, because it is ridiculously difficult. But the rest of Passmedicine is really, really helpful. So I definitely recommend getting on that whenever you have the time. Okay, so the third resource I'd like to talk about is MedEntry. Now, MedEntry is very similar to Medify, but I think it's made by someone in Australia, but it still helps for the Europe UCAT as well. MedEntry also boasts lots and lots of mocks. So I got MedEntry about, 2 weeks before my exam, because I think I'd started to run out of Medify mocks and I wanted some extra ones to just keep me going. So I got MedEntry for about 2 weeks. So I'm not really fully qualified to completely criticize or analyze MedEntry as much, but I think it's a brilliant resource. It's just I use Medify and that seemed to work for me. One thing that's good about MedEntry that Medify doesn't have as much is the analysis. So you can analyze your performance against other people that are sitting the same mocks as you. And now that's a bit of a double-edged sword. Please don't go into the mocks analysing your score continuously against other people. It's not worth it. Just do what's best for you and keep focusing on your own mocks. But if there is a mock that's ridiculously difficult, like I said with the Passmedicine ones, at least because your percentile will still be somewhere where you're comfortable with, rather than your score being 440 and you being really unhappy with that. So overall, MedEntry, I can't completely comment on it. I would definitely recommend it because I used it and it was brilliant. But I can't really say that, oh, Medify is better or MedEntry is better because I didn't use MedEntry for long enough. One more resource I used was the MSAG. Now, this was recommended to me by a friend and she thought it was brilliant and that really helped her and she did really well as well. But personally, I didn't think it was brilliant because just the lack of mocks. It only had like 3 or 4 full mock tests and that was nowhere near enough for me, especially for a paid resource. I would have hoped for a bit more. And overall, I just found their interface a bit more choppy than MedEntry and Medify. But yeah, again, I would personally stay away from it, but it's up to you. And in no way am I saying the MSAG is bad. They have loads of other good resources out there. They're brilliant blogs. I have read those and they're excellent. It's just that the UCAT stuff wasn't for me. Sorry, before I completely roast the crap out of MSAG and not say anything good, the abstract reasoning was quite helpful actually, because they actually had some helpful information on there about how to tackle the abstract reasoning questions. And the actual practice section was quite helpful for that. But otherwise, again, not a big fan of the MSAG. Brilliant. So now we have the websites out the way and you know which website might be best for you to prepare for the UCAT. What about UCAT courses? Well, we did a UCAT course at school. We had a guest speaker come in and do this kind of online UCAT day with us. I'm sorry, but I hated it. It did not help me whatsoever. And they gave some kind of free online resource as well, but I'm not even going to bother talking about it because it was terrible. I honestly can't remember what company it was, but if there's a UCAT resource that I would definitely stay away from, it is courses, because they're not tailored to each person individually. They'll just tell you random information which you can easily find on YouTube. What's the point in paying for a course when there are literally free videos on YouTube that can tell you that plus more? So yeah, I have a strong feeling against courses, but if that's something for you and you do learn better by someone teaching you specifically, I would personally recommend the Medic Life's course. I didn't personally do the UCAT one, but I did their interview skills course and that was brilliant. That was absolutely amazing. So I would definitely recommend, if you really want to do a course, do the Medic Life one. But again, personally, stay away from courses. All right, so finally, what would I recommend then? I would personally recommend doing pretty much exactly what I did. Start off with Passmedicine and get Medify or MedEntry, but I'd get Medify because that's what I used and that's the one I'll recommend. See where you go with the mock tests, see where you go with the section tests, and once you have a better idea, closer to your exam date, maybe 2-3 weeks before your exam, and you want to do more mocks, maybe get MedEntry or a different resource like the MSAG to just get a few more mocks in. But definitely start off with Passmedicine and one more website that gives you lots of mock tests, because mock test is the key, and that will pretty much get you there. If you need any top-ups on mocks, then you can use the other resource. So if you're using Medify, use MedEntry. If you're using MedEntry, get Medify. But overall, it's better to kind of look at different resources like I did. So definitely don't just stick to one, because you'll get too used to that one style of question and that's not going to help, because you might have a different difficulty in your actual exam. And finally, stay away from courses, stick to YouTube videos because they're way better than courses. Brilliant. Okay, thank you so much for listening and hopefully this helped. You have some better ideas of what resources might work for you. Clearly, I have a very strong feeling against courses, so I'm sorry if you're a course lover, but good luck with your UCAT prep. Let me know if you have any other questions about UCAT prep or absolutely anything at all. I'm really happy to answer. If you're still watching, please consider subscribing. I have a big red subscribe button over here. And if you would like to watch another one of my videos, there should be a video right here. So, brilliant. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.